The video for March 23rd, 2017 is titled A Time of Transition and Confusion. Even though I do not spend as much time online as I once did, I still try my best to keep up on what I consider significant change in human reality. Unlike the brainwashed masses, I realize that this world has been controlled by liars with evil intent for millennia. Some call these periods ages, as in the Age of Aquarius, which supposedly we are now in the early stages. Whatever we call it, it is a time of transition as we exit the Piscean Age. The cusp between the two, for most of us, causes confusion. Some don't want the boat to be rocked, while others, like me, are on the edge of our seats in anticipation of real change that is obvious. While I have done my best to keep the faith, it is not only confusing, but extremely challenging as well. As for me, I simply want the transition to be as peaceful as possible. I wish there was some way we could simply move into the new era without all the resistance being thrown up by the cabal and their minions. You know, I really wrestled this morning with what to talk about, and I'm still not clear. I'd like there to be a real marked something that we can say this happened. But there's so much information and disinformation, and I'm not even sure anymore what sources are telling the truth. I know the mainstream media is lying, but even among the alternative media, or what we would consider the alternative media, there are liars. There are people that are giving intentional disinformation or wishful thinking disinformation. And I've probably been guilty myself of giving wishful thinking disinformation because of how strongly I've wanted the world to be a safer, better, more honest, more fair place to be. I have never looked at going to heaven as a positive response to the situation that is unfolding in our evolutionary consciousness, if you will. It just doesn't make sense to me that that it has to keep getting worse and worse. Ever since, as I've said so many times, since I was a boy, since I was a teenager, I have wanted to see the manifestation of the kingdom of heaven on earth, and I believed all of my life that was my destiny, to actually participate in that transition. But it's taking a lot longer than I thought. Now, I do think that some of the things that Trump is reportedly doing might be good. And some of the people he's surrounding himself with, either he's giving them enough rope to hang themselves or whatever. But unless there is some divine intervention, be that extraterrestrial assistance or whatever you want to call it, without that, I don't see how the evil cabal is going to relinquish their attempted stranglehold on the human race. Now, I'd like to believe that China and Russia and the BRICS nations, although I'm not so sure about Brazil, but I'd like to think that they're actually doing something positive, as opposed to the European and U.S. influence. And of course, the U.S., as I've said so many times, is the military arm. We can't afford to be operating bases to destroy people's lives and to tear down civilizations as we've been doing since the Second World War ended. We've been fighting a more invisible war, but it's a war nevertheless where we continue to try to control, because this is a control grid by a demonically inspired and influenced cabal that are insane. I mean, these people are insane. They rape children, for God's sake. I mean, the pedophilia is now being exposed, but it's been going on for millennia. This elite class wants to get the life force out of children because that's still an innocence. And so child sacrifice even goes back into the Aztec civilizations. And it's been, around the world, apparently, all of our lives, and all known history has been punctuated and marked with horrific treatment by those that claim to be rulers, horrific treatment of our children, the most innocent of all, that don't have the life experience. All they know is terror, and they're terrorized from the beginning. That's why they're creating such an exodus, because they're taking from the Muslim countries that are being exploited. They're taking the children that are often left parentless and wandering. They take them and they rape them and kill them in many cases. And I mean, it's horrific what they do. This is the transition to a peaceful world. It's good that it's being exposed. I don't believe in putting our heads in the sand and pretending that's not what exists. We have to shine the light into the darkness in order for the darkness to be given the opportunity to either repent or get out and don't come back. I mean, this reincarnation thing of coming back and repeating it over and over and over again is another insanity. I mean, it's one thing if we choose to just have another life, but it's insanity to keep coming back and still not knowing who we are and why we're here, and having a positive role to play to help those that are a little bit more slow in waking up and in coming to their senses. I'd like to be a participant in a real new world order, not one that George Bush and the cabal wants, a new world order of control, but a new world order of freedom, a new world order of prosperity, a new world order of peace, a new world order of fairness for everybody, a new world order of opportunity, so that we can all become what we were created to be, and that we can love one another and get over our falsely implanted divisions of religion and politics, and even science has become a religion and dogmatic to many people. I mean, it's just, this is the way it is. No, it's not the way it is. It's not the way it has to be. It may be the way that we've experienced, but it doesn't have to continue. There has to be a change, or a transition from the old way to the new way. And that's what I live for. That's what I want with all of my heart. And I appreciate those of you that continue to listen to me and continue to hear me speak off the cuff and with just a little bit of a blurb preparing the way ahead of time. But nevertheless, I'm speaking basically from my heart, off the cuff, and doing the best I can to share some of the things that I feel and that I'm going through. And I know there's a lot of other people that are just as confused and just as upset with the slowness of things as I am. But hang in there, folks, because I do think that real change is coming, and hopefully it will be very quick. Thank you for listening, and namaste.